Hey everybody, my name is John from Community Life Church, and this is Meals Ready to Eat from the Bible. Hello, today's episode is We Meet Our Future in the Church. If we abandon the church, we abandon the place God has promised us. Now, last time I shared a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at Mark chapter 11, verses 15 through 17, and we see Jesus continuing to support for the temple and by extension the foundation of the church in his day, even though it was a corrupt institution. And further, if we look back to the life of Abraham in Genesis, all the way back, starting in chapter 11 of Genesis, we see how God is building the foundation of the church in the life of Abraham, even then. So let's go see what we can learn from the life of Abraham about the church today. Well, to start with, in chapter 11, at the end of the chapter, we see that Abraham's family was called to go from where they were to the place God had wanted them to be. Then in the opening 3 verses of chapter 12, we see Abraham is called again to go to the land I will show you. So what happened here? Abram and us meet our future in the place God sends us. And here's what it says. Let's go take a look at, we're going to look at, this is Genesis chapter 13. Verses 8 through 13 or so, and then 17 and 18. So let's pop that up on the screen and read through it, see what God is saying to us today about what's going on in our lives. Okay, excuse me 1 second. So, starting in verse 8 and 13, so Abram said to Lot, "Please let there be no strife between you and me, nor between my herdsmen and your herdsmen. For we are brothers. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If to the left, then I will go to the right, or if to the right, then I will go to the left." Lot lifted up his eyes and saw that the valley of the Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. This is before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the valley of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as you go towards Zoar. So Lot chose for himself all the valley of the Jordan, and Lot journeyed eastward. Thus they separated from each other. And then verse 13, now the men of Sodom were wicked exceedingly and sinners against the Lord. And let's just scroll down so we can pick up verse 17 and 18. There you go at the bottom of your screen. Arise, walk about the land through its length and its breadth, for I will give it to you. Then Abram moved his tent and came and dwelt by the oaks of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and there he built an altar to the Lord. That's chapter 13, verses 17 through 18. Kind of a long passage today, but let's just work through it and see what God's got for us here. So to begin with, Abram offered his nephew Lot a place to go. They had so much stuff, there was so many flocks, so much herdsmen, the herds were so big that Lot needed a separate place to go. And then Lot chose for himself what he thought looked best. However, God destroyed the land while Lot was living in there. You see that in verse 10, right? It looked good, but there was nothing good about the land. Even though it was pleasant in appearance, it was not where God wanted it to be and ended up not being a good place. Very important point. Got to be where God wants you to be. So even though Abram got what looked like second best, he followed God and preserved his future. Lot surrendered his future. He no longer had a future living in Sodom. Now today, God calls all of us to be part of a local church. Read through the New Testament, it's very clear that the local church is a very important part of our world today. So it's where we meet our future, just like Abram met his future in the place God called him to go, the place God sent him to. So it is where God, by the way, changed Abram to Abraham and expanded the future that he thought he had, and it was a much bigger future when he changed his name. So the place God has for us includes other people. Abram didn't go to his future all by himself. He took his family and all his servants and his possessions. Everybody went to the place God promised for him. Right? And it's a real physical place. Just like, you go to a local church, it's in a building or a house, whatever the case may be. It's a real physical place, but it's also an eternal place. Just like with Abram, now Abraham, this place that he went to affects us to this day and will continue to affect the human race throughout eternity. So our future is in the place that God sends us to. A very, very important point. So we're called to be part of our local church, for our future is waiting there for us. So that's the important thing here, that we got to go to the place God called us to be, and go there and get a hold of our future. And when we find our future, we know that that is indeed good news. Thanks for watching. You can join us Sunday morning, 10:30 at 20 West Main Street, Catskill, New York. Can't make it? You can stream our services live on YouTube or Facebook, which you can find on our web at clchurch.cc. That's clchurch.cc. Don't forget to follow us throughout the week for devotions and times of sharing from leaders and staff. Leave a comment, leave a like, whatever you want. And thanks once again.